Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Hoop Stats podcast. I'm Christy Winter-Scott, joined by my girl, Helen Williams. And man, there's a lot going on, Helen. A lot going on in the W. Let's chop it up a little bit. How are you, number one?
I'm good. I'm just trying to keep up with you. You podcast on Monday, analyst on Tuesday, podcast on Wednesday. I'm like, I want to be her.
Hey, it's all hoops, so I love the dance. I'll do the dance. I love it. So I'm feeling.
Yep, yep, for sure.
Oh my gosh, but so much going on in the WNBA. We are on Wednesday just to put a pin in where we are with how everything is progressing. There's a ton of games today throughout the day and night prior to the All-Star break. But I guess just give maybe a brief overview of what you have seen in the first half, and then we'll get into some other things.
Yeah, I've just seen a lot of teams trying to figure out who they are, right? You have this identity at the beginning with everybody healthy, everybody there, and then you have people getting hurt, and then you have Eurobasket, and then you have people coming back, and then you have people getting hurt. And so we're at the halfway point. So assuming people are healthy, and they're on a whole lot of trades or whatever. I think the 7th is the deadline.
Yeah.
You're going to be what you're going to be
Yeah.
for the rest of the season. And for some teams, they still don't know what that is.
And with that being said, when you're looking at what Minnesota has been able to do in particular and how they've been able to pretty much sustain themselves, and Nafisa Collier getting a lot of chatter for being the front runner for the MVP or the MVP, people are saying. But what do you think has been the underlying component to their success in the first half of the season?
Well, I think that they were farther along on both ends of the court earlier in the season than other teams.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's because they have, a lot of people coming back, right? Same people from last year. But normally your offense comes after your defense, but it was sort of parallel in terms of the development of both for them. And I think that was a big deal in terms of how they got started. And then I mentioned last week, now I think they have, assuming everybody stays healthy,
Right.
a decent bench. The depth that they needed. Cheryl Reeve is playing people more. She's playing Diamond Miller more.
Yeah.
Shepard is basically a starter anyway. But again, and I think that them staying healthy and their bench sort of coming along is a big reason why they are where they are.
Yeah, no doubt. And I know we did discuss that last week, but I just kind of want to set a pin where we are right now before we move into the second half of the season. But I know with the All-Star break coming up, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think obviously for the fans, but for everyone involved, I think the coaches, the players, and it's kind of like a reset and get ready for the gauntlet of the second half of the season. But I want to do something a little bit fun today. I know that this rookie class, and we discussed this last week too, they're cut different.
Yeah.
They're cut from some kind of different cloth out here. But if you had to do, I know the NBA has been experimenting with different ways to do their All-Star game, like the last 2 seasons anyway. And I don't know if the WNBA will ever do this, but I think it would be fun to do like rookies against vets. And if there was such a thing, what would you say the rookie team would look like for the WNBA if they did an all-star game with rookies against the vets?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would have, as my starters, I'd have Paige Beckers, Sonia Citron, Sanai Rivers, Aaliyah Nye, and Kiki Iriafen. And then I would have the next 5 would be Tahina Paopao, Michaela Timpson, who I think has been getting more minutes for Indiana, and she's still kind of like a young deer, just trying to figure out how to walk, but she is going to be really good, and she's starting to get more minutes. And then same thing for Dominique Malonga.
Yeah.
She's going to be good. I think they're bringing her along appropriately, not asking too much of her, letting her get in there and figure things out. And then I've always been a big fan of Sarah Ashley Barker since I, did her games, the Alabama games. So those are my. There are other non-traditional rookies, right? Like the ones for Phoenix, but I just
Right.
wanted to go with the players who this was really truly their first year as a pro.
Right. Man, I love that. I love that starting five too. And for me on the vet side, boy, there's so many to choose from.
I know, I know.
And I have the harder side of that.
You got that's why I gave it to you.
Well, here I am, just and if anyone knows me very well, I'm always the last to order at the restaurant. I'm not I don't decide very precisely because everything looks good. So that's kind of how that works. Same thing here. But for the vets, man, I gotta go on the vet side. I'm going with NECA Ogumake to start things out. Man, that's just where I'm gonna start. I'll put her in there. I'm gonna put Dwana Bonner in there. I'm gonna put Alyssa Thomas in there. And now let's see who's gonna pass them all the ball. Let's see who I
Well, Alyssa Thomas, I mean,
she's
she's
a dimer. You're
there
right.
you go. She's a facilitator.
Okay. True. Okay. Let's go with let's get Brittany Sykes out there because we need some defense. And let's go with
Yes.
Diggins Smith. Oh, Skylar Diggins.
You need a dog in there. So there
You
you
know.
go.
Yeah. So Skylar Diggins, Brittany Sykes, AT, Nneka Gumake, and Duana Bonner. Cool. I like that. Oh,
I
that.
I like that, and that's just
That's
like I said last year, the
fine.
last week, the old heads against the young ones. If we had that game today,
Yeah.
and those were just the 5-on-5, I do think your group by hair would beat my group just from experience and who wants to get in front of Alyssa Thomas? Nobody. So, uh, that's a good group. I like that.
I like that group. And then let's see, my bench vets. We gotta find some bench vets. I'm going with Brittany Griner. Coming off the bench, block a couple shots, get a couple dunks on people, catch body. Um, my guards. I need some more guards down in there. I need some guards. Let's go with Arike Gumbuwale. Let her sizzle somebody out. Ba ba ba. I mean, she's got the yo-yo. Go
Yep.
in
She's
there.
got the handles. You
Yeah,
break your
pity pat, drop body over here and over there. Let's get Arike. Okay, so we have Arike, Brittany Griner. Let's see. Let's get some more down inside. Let's get some more down inside. I need another post. Help me out. I need another post, Helen. I need another post off the bench. Who we
off
got?
the bench. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with Jessica Shepard.
Okay, I like that. I like
I'm
that.
gonna go. Yep,
I mean,
yep.
what
She's basically a
vet?
starter.
How many years do you have to be a vet? Because I mean, I might have to do a trade and put Nafisa in that top five. And I didn't even say Asia. Let me start over. I'm starting over.
That's why I gave it to you because it's harder.
I know. Okay, so I was going more like 10-year vet. But if
Okay,
is it 5 year? What's a vet?
I would say
Because she's
I
been
would say I would say 5 and above. 5 and yeah, 5 year minimum.
all right, redo. Because I was going 10 and over. You
Yeah,
saw me
5.
like okay. So let me redo. So if it's you said 5 and up,
5. Yeah, 5 and up.
ah, we're redoing. Okay. I thought we were going to vet. We're just going vet. Okay. We're going one vet. Okay. All right. Let's start over for my list because that's what we do. All right, the mental gymnastics, we're flipping and jumping. All right. We're going Asia Wilson.
Of course.
Top. I have a story. Anyway, we'll get to that. All right. So Asia Wilson, we're starting with her in the starting five. And then we're gonna go with AT. I'm gonna put her in there because we need her.
Yes.
The A train. We're going with that. And then let's go 5-year vets, 5 or more. Let's go with Chelsea Gray. You know what? And I know it might be more than obviously 5, but let's go with Chelsea.
Point guard.
I think she's up there, and then that'll free AT up if those rookies try to blitz. I'm thinking
Good
out
point.
right
Good
now.
point. You're thinking X's and O's too. I got you.
Is the sweat bead visible to y'all? Oh, trying to
You're
figure
doing good. You're doing good. You're doing good.
out. No, that's too difficult. That's too many people. Okay, okay. So we have Asia Wilson, we have AT, and Chelsea Gray. Okay,
You need a couple. You need a couple wings.
let's go with Kelsey Plum. Yeah,
My
Kelsey Plum.
one of my favorite players. Yeah.
Kelsey, and she's killing it. She's killing it. Averaging 20 a game. People know what she's gonna do, and it's just the way she can create space. It's nothing you can do with her. Plus she's plum dog. What? So we have another dog there. So we need another wing. And I love Jewel Lloyd. I love Skylar Diggins.
Alicia Gray. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, boom. Has she been in? She's been in more than five, like
I think
6 or
so.
7, right?
You got to have her in there.
Yeah, boom. There are the 5 right there. Boom.
Okay, Asia, AT, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, and Alicia Gray.
Ooh, I like that. Against,
That's a nice. Any coach would love to have that group.
I would love to have that group. I would love to have that group. I can't. Let me see. Ooh, that was a lot. That was a lot. I had a little vein popping out on my forehead from all the work. But that's hard to do. But I think
That it is hard to do because they all bring. I mean, there's so many talented players in the W.
yeah,
You could have an 5, 6, 7 starting fives of different people.
honestly, yeah, I think it would be fun. I think that would be fun for the fans too to talk
Oh,
about
for sure.
what their list would be, their rosters one against the other. Maybe they're going to do something like that at the All Star game. I don't know, but that was fun though. I didn't even get my bench players, but we had that. We can just move that 5 or some of the 5 from the previous list. That's
Yeah, yeah. No, I think the thing that would make that interesting is that
yeah,
the players that are coming out of college right now are so pro ready
they
that
are.
that's why it would be such a good game, whether it's basketball IQ or just physical ability. They're pro ready.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. No, they're getting the job done. No, I think it would be a fun game to watch if they ever did that. I would
Let's tell Kathy that she needs to think about that.
that ear, get a piece of that ear right there. I think it would be fun. It would be fun for the fans too. I think the players would enjoy that too. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. I love that. But there is, the All Star break, right? And I know with the Mystics anyway, they were out in LA last night. LA got that dub in the chat. But I know that the All Star break is kind of like a reset for a lot of teams. And Sydney
Yeah.
Mystics said, hey, we're going to utilize this break of about a week. They don't play again until next Tuesday, but they're going to use that just to kind of get a reset and recalibrate themselves mentally and physically.
And rest.
What do
Yes.
you think?
Rest and recover.
Yeah, yeah. Because I know Paige Becker said that was like the biggest adjustment for her, and just to be able to get the proper recovery. And they're on chartered flights, and it's not like oh woe is me, but there's a specific attention to detail that elite level athletes pay to their bodies. So this is a good chance for everyone to kind of press the restart button, right?
Yeah, and for the coaches too. I mean, they're not out there physically playing, but they're on the sidelines playing the game with as a coach, like you're tired at the end of a game and you weren't even out there bouncing the ball or running, but mentally, and it just you were talking about mental gymnastics. It does tire you out physically. So I think everybody needs a reset, not just the players.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt about it. And I think it's good timing. I think it's been a gauntlet, like what you were saying, like with Eurobasket players coming in and out. It's like a lot of different shuffling that you have to do with your rosters and injuries. We already discussed like with Cameron Brink. Probably going to make her return in the second half of the season for LA. So I mean, a lot of different changes and adjustments that need to be made throughout. But that second half of the season, let's talk about how there may be a couple sleeper teams that people aren't really talking about that much that would possibly make a really solid run to the playoff race. And if there are such teams for you, who would those be?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head with LA. I mean, they're playing really well. Azrae Stevens is on my all underrated team where people aren't paying enough attention to her, and then of course Kelsey. Kelsey Plum, and I think Cameron Brink coming second half of the season is just going to bring a different vibe to that team where they might be able to do some more things.
Mhm.
So definitely LA. I think the Mystics. They are 2 or 3 plays away from making a lot of noise, and part of it's because they're so young. They still haven't learned yet how to execute in those crucial situations. Like they still have to go through that period of development. But having said that, obviously they are, I think, very good, and they're gonna make a run. The question is how far.
Yeah.
You look at Golden State. If they would just do what they do and get a couple more stops per game, like they could really make some noise, because everything that they have going on, where people just, no one expected them
No. No.
to be as good as they are. And I love, let me say her name right, Zandalasini.
Yeah.
Love her. Janelle Salon. I think Veronica Burton. I'm actually I didn't think she was that good. Let's be honest. I thought she was just a role player, but she's shooting from 3-point range better. I thought she was a really good defensive player, and then her offense kind of lagged behind. But this year, her offense, I don't know what coach has said to her, shoot it, kid. I don't know, but she, and obviously probably put the time in. But
Yeah.
and then Monique Billings, who's I think underrated, should never have not been on a team. Like, she is a player that I think is brings a lot to the game, especially for their depth. So they're
Right.
going to make a run. I think the Aces will go as far as Asia Wilson's play takes them.
Okay. Okay.
Right? If she can have 30 and 10, you know, every game, 30 and 15, like they're going to go as far as her play is going to take them. I just haven't seen enough from everybody else to say I know for sure. Like they're hanging on by a thread right now, and she needs to stay healthy. So,
Yeah.
those teams I think are going to be, and Seattle, man, if they could just be
Yeah.
more consistent, they play great one game, and then the next game you're like, have you guys ever played basketball together before? And it's not for lack of talent, because they're a very talented team.
Right. Right. I think what you said right there. I mean, to be consistent with it, and I think that's the mark of excellence is consistency. And I think if you show me on Monday that that's you, then be that on Tuesday through the next Monday, right? Be
Exactly.
like that every time. And I think that's the challenge for a lot of teams, right? And especially like you said, the younger teams or the teams with a lot of different moving parts, like at Golden State, we didn't see that coming, at the beginning of the year when we saw the rosters like, okay, a new team, they got a lot of new pieces, a lot of different kinds of skill sets. So see how that meshes. And it's been really good to watch. And it's sold out in there. I mean, the environment out there in the Bay is a beautiful thing to witness, right?
Yeah, I want to get out there and get me one of those lavender, not purple, lavender shirts. But I do think also the teams that are going to go far in the playoffs are the ones who shore up their defense,
Yeah.
right? For the second half. The one pet peeve that I've had the last couple of weeks is points in the paint.
Yeah.
Like, it's been driving me nuts. If you look at, let me see, LA had 50 against Connecticut last week. The Fever had 58 against Dallas last week. The Aces had 48 against Golden State. And then last night, LA had 58,
Uh-huh.
right? In the paint. And if you're gonna get anywhere in the playoffs, or offense is great. It's pretty nice eye candy, but
Yeah.
defense is what wins you championships. So the teams that figure that out the
Mhm.
second half are the ones that are gonna go the farthest.
Yeah, and I also think to that point, right? You got to have your defense on lock in, right? You got to be right there every time. Can't be late. Head on a swivel. Rotate on
Communication, yep.
communication. You got to be together with it, right? That's definitely top of the list. But when you're looking at, in particular, last night, since it's fresh on my mind, what LA was able to do, they went to their 4 out 1 in offense, right? And even against a couple of peppering in of zone schemes here and there, matchup zones, 2-3 zone, whatever, they were still able to spread Washington out and
Yeah.
attack up, right? So for me, it's like, can you get those high percentage shots at a high volume and complete plays in there? So I think that's going to be the challenge, right? To take it away, defensively, but I also think on the offensive end, you got to be calculated and disciplined on the offensive side too, and not settle and fall in love with that three too much. But you got to get into that slot area. You got to get a piece of paint with the basketball, and you got to attack the rim and finish. And I think that's what LA did exceptionally well in the game last night. They were able to move Washington out, so they had long run closeouts to those threes that they knocked in on a consistent basis, which is why they were able to take those weak side cuts or those dark cuts from the nail to finish inside. So I think, yes, defense, but I also think, man, if you can massage that defense down and attack and strike in the paint, you're going to be right there in the thick of things as
That's
well.
spoken like a true post player who likes to get the ball inside.
Right?
Yes, I'm not surprised that I'm not surprised that's how you think. No, but I agree, and people don't think about this a lot,
Right.
but your individual one-on-one defense on the perimeter,
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge in terms of not allowing teams to get in, like you said, and also to keep your post players out of foul trouble, right?
Yeah.
Having to rotate and things like that. So I do agree with you on that.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's a challenge, and I think that's why we love watching, right? To see what teams do to take the paint away because the numbers have been monstrous. And then even in that game, I know I keep referring to it, but it's like again, it's fresh on my mind. But Washington and LA were second and third in paint points coming into that game, but LA was able to spread Washington out and get what they wanted in there. So it's just a challenge just to see how teams attack and how they scheme and what they're looking for and how they stay disciplined to that. So I think to your point with Las Vegas, I know you said that they go as Asia Wilson goes, but sometimes she does have monster games, a lot of times where she
Yeah.
has like, double doubles with 30-point double doubles, but they still don't get over the hurdle of winning the game. What else is it specifically that they need even when Asia Wilson's on top?
I feel like I try to put myself in Becky's shoes, and I know she goes to bed going, "What in the hell is going on?" Like and you think
I love
because
her.
you can always have the X's and O's. That's pretty easy, right? You watch film, you say she shouldn't go here, don't let her do that.
Right.
But it's a mentality, but it's a collective mentality, which I feel like Vegas does not have. They've had it in the past,
Mhm.
but I don't feel like it's that collective, we're not gonna let you do what you wanna do. And that sounds so cheeky, and as a coach I want to get in there and talk about x's and o's and
Yeah.
schemes and things like that, but just
Yeah.
the collective mentality of we are not going to let you do this to us.
Right.
We're not going to allow a team to have 40 points in the paint. I'm just not. And if I have to knock your head off, I'm not going to let you get those points in the paint.
Get in here. Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. And I love Becky Hammond, man. And she tells it like it is. And I love listening to her
I know, I love her press conferences.
all the time, pre-game and post-game, like after practices. I love listening to her. I mean, her basketball acumen is through the roof, and she understands the assignment of winning, obviously, right? Um,
Right.
so to get that done again, to kind of recreate that culture, like you were talking about, of toughness inside. I mean, she's even alluded to this. So this is not necessarily my opinion, but I agree with what Becky has said. Like they just out toughed us. After games, she's just like they just have more gusto and more moxie than us, and that's something you can't write down on the whiteboard in a timeout huddle. So
No,
how do
I think that's where they miss Kelsey Plum.
you?
And I do think to some degree that's where they miss Kate Martin
Uh,
for the few minutes that she played. I think that's a big deal. And I mean, obviously you have to let some people go, right? But I might have made a couple of different choices on that. Um, so but hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, no doubt. And AC. I mean, you're looking at Alicia Clark, who at the end of
Yes,
the
yes.
she was on Stewie on that last play. When they won at the buzzer because of her defense, right? It was AC's defense that was sitting in a stance, walled up Stewie, and that was lights out in that championship game. So I mean, they are missing that dig down, rough and tumble through the mud mentality on the
Yep.
defensive side. And when they do have it, they win the games that they're supposed to win. Like, I don't know. Like, I know, like you said, that Becky Hammond is probably really frustrated that it is kind of a roller coaster ride with seeing it from her team and not getting them to steady the ship a little bit better.
Yeah, and I think probably the most frustrating thing is they're not playing defense against teams that they should definitely beat. Right? I could see, New York, Minnesota, those are going to be tough games, and this isn't to denigrate other teams, but the teams in the lower echelon, like bare minimum, you should be playing defense against them and not allowing them to get into the paint, and to rebound and things like that. And that's where I get frustrated as a coach watching. Like, you should be beating these teams, right? I get it with the top with Minnesota and New York and Phoenix, right? Those
Yeah,
are expected to be tough games, but
yeah,
you're Las Vegas and you should be beating these teams. But
yeah.
again, it's not the same Vegas Aces that we've seen the last couple of years.
That part, that part, that part. It's just different, and I think that's the challenge too in the second half of the season to see if they can get more consistency on the
Yep.
defense and just stay locked in. And it's easier said than done. Just to say, hey, lock in on defense. Okay, that's all relative to each individual on the team. Like, well, I am locked in. Like, and that as a
Yeah,
you have,
it's not a given they're gonna make the playoffs, right? It used to be a given, but
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Right, yeah, it's going to be a tough run, but it's going to be intriguing for sure. Another team that is probably going to be going through it a little bit till the end of July is Atlanta, with Ryan Howard being out through the end of the month. Obviously, got replaced by Kayla McBride in the All Star game coming up this
Yep.
week in Indy. But what do you see from Atlanta? Could that be a sleeper team once Ryan Howard becomes healthy at the end of July to make a hard run there? Because they started the
I
season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
assuming they're healthy, assuming they're fully healthy, definitely. They're another team that just do what you do and make a couple extra plays, right?
right,
They're gonna have the offense. We talked about Carl Smesco just making these subtle adjustments at the right time and how he's playing, depending on the team that you're playing. Like, they were playing Chicago earlier today, and of course Brittany Griner played a lot because you got Camila Cardoso, right? And
right.
so, making those changes. And so that to me is just it's going to be important for them to be able to finish games
Mhm.
defensively at the end. Like, the offense, I'm not really concerned about. They're going to make shots, but just those one or two defensive possessions that's going to determine the outcome of the game.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think, the way that they started the season, I was like certainly impressed with how well they were spacing the floor with Bree Jones and BG on the floor at the same time, going a little high low action. They were taking threes and making threes. And it was just really intriguing to me to see how Carl Smesco was molding the clay of having all those really fantastic players at his disposal. But now, with Ryan Howard being out, I think it's going to be, interesting to see how he shuffles his rotation because of that. Like you said, BG got more minutes, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how he shuffles the last couple of weeks of July and on into August and what they look like with Ryan back and to make a solid push.
Yeah, I mean, Nas Hillman's getting more time. Maya Caldwell's getting more time.
Yeah, yeah,
Long, lanky kid, young lady, I think, and then, obviously, um, I think Jordan Canada having her back because everything that you talked about at the beginning was without Jordan Canada.
exactly,
So to have her back, gives them more pace on offense.
for sure.
Was tiny on defense, but, gives them more pace on offense and allows them to sprint out and, do the things, have that spread out offense that, in transition and run secondary breaks, right? Not just the primary breaks, but they're able to flow right into their secondary break and because of his offense. So it's sometimes really beautiful to watch.
It really is. It really is. And he's very patient and calm, obviously with his demeanor. And I think they play exactly like that. But they also have the fierceness and the fire in the belly, but they organize it, right? It's like fire in the belly, but it's organized exactly how you painted the picture. And it's really fun to watch them for sure.
And don't
What,
forget about Pow Pow. Pow Pow Pow.
oh, pow, 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 pow.
Pow Pow coming off the bench and hyphenate Walker Kimbrough. That's the young lady
Oh,
I was talking about.
okay.
Yeah,
So,
blocking shots, defending.
wow.
So they're a unique team. I definitely would not count them out, assuming they're healthy.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. And I just saw Tahina Pow Pow. She just scored her 100th career point already because she's letting
My
those loose. She's knocking those triples in like crazy. I know at one point she was leading the league percentage wise from three. I don't know if she still is, so I don't want to misspeak, but I know for at least the first 10, 15 games she was. So that's pretty amazing. The career that she's coming into the W with, and I love to see that confidence in those young ones. Another one, another
But just another example that you can give value in the second round. Her, Aaliyah Nye, like it doesn't have to be the first round. You can get value in the second round. People get all bent out of shape about, oh, they gave around somebody traded, gave a first round pick. There are plenty of really good second round players that can bring value.
yeah, value and impact. I mean, look at that. I mean, already 100 career points as a rookie. She's just been amazing down there in Atlanta. And I know, we were kind of talking about Chicago a little bit now that they have Cardozo back from playing Eurobasket and everything like that. But what do you see for Chicago in the second half of the season? That's another team that could
Oh,
dark horse because they've been doing it. And Angel Reese facing the basket has been a totally different player.
yeah, I really, think they miss Vandersloot. I really do, and I think the adjustment they've made with Angel being the point forward or whatever has been great. And she's developing in that role.
Yeah,
Where where they struggle is scoring on the wing. I mean, people forget about Rachel Banham. Like she can shoot and she is tough, but
yeah,
I haven't seen any scoring from the wing that's going to open it up more for
mhm,
Cardoso and for Angel Reese, and that I think has been a problem. That Kia Nurse has not played very well this season. Haley Van Lith has been thrown in there because of the injury, and she hasn't really gotten off to a great start. And so the outside shooting for them, I think, is going to be crucial. Who else besides Rachel Banham and Becca Allen can shoot as well too. But I think that's really the key: healthy, not having a point guard, and not being able to really shoot from the outside enough to open it up for Angel.
very interesting. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Rachel Bano, man, she's got
People
like
forget about her. She can shoot.
no, for sure. And she's tough, like you said. She understands the assignment of winning. So I think that is true. Like the perimeter balance of being able to score and open up the court a little bit more for those two. I think they definitely are in need, but maybe I don't know. Maybe that could be Van Lith. I don't know. Like I
I mean, people are hoping it is, and I feel bad because people are just, I can't stand it when people hide behind social media. People who can't even, dribble a basketball have all these negative things to say, but she just got there. And the problem is that players like Citron and Paige Beckers and Sanaya Rivers, like the curve, like they've messed up the bell curve because people expect a first year player to come in and be like that, right? And not everybody's like that. Some people need some seasoning. Some people need some reps, and so she's getting the brunt of that, which I feel bad for her for because I think she's can be a decent player, but
right.
right now she's struggling.
Yeah. And I don't think that's anything new that we've seen, especially in the WNBA. I mean, didn't Skylar Diggins come in and she struggled a little bit as a rookie? Didn't Kelsey Plum come in,
Yeah,
the number one overall pick, and struggle as a rookie and have some smoke coming her way because of that? But look
right.
at who she is now. Like you have to give these players the grace to grow, and I don't think it's fair to Haley Van Lith or whatever other rookies are in the league. Like you said, it's like almost like fool's gold. You see all these all-star rookies being named, and then everyone can't be at that level. They jump in the pool, everyone's going to swim a different way. Like let them get to the other side of the pool on their own and figure it out. in their own time, not everyone else's. And you have to consider the source, like you said. Some of these
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, people like us who know basketball, and the unfortunate part is it is a results-based business, right? It's you gotta have numbers, you gotta win, and you don't get much latitude, you don't get much room, you don't get much time because the coaches need to win because they want to keep their jobs too. So there's a lot of pressure there as well.
there is. There is, but I mean, even Kobe Bryant, right? It was Froby, like his rookie season with the Lakers, and he had those air balls, and he said, "Man, I thought I had my legs. I had to get in the gym." So there's a process to
Right.
that comes with getting through that, right? You got to go through it to get to it, and sometimes people get to it a little quicker than others.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. So I think that's the encouraging part. And if people didn't know that about Kobe, go look that up because I was like, that was
Yeah.
had to grow through. And he became one of the best of all time because of the work ethic that it took to understand what he needed to do to correct himself. Like the self correction is the big
Exactly.
of development.
Exactly. For
Yeah.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Oh man. Oh, let me get started with that because it's a lot of hoops over here. But with that being said, a lot of hoops. Are there any other dark horse teams that you see in that second half of the season that could surprise some people that maybe we're not talking about enough that could make some noise in the second half?
I mean, I don't think it's a surprise, but I want to see how long Phoenix can stay where they are.
Okay. Okay.
Right? I mean, they're I think
Yeah.
second now in the league. Like how, and they're doing this for the most part. Like Kyle Copper hasn't played a lot lately.
Mhm.
They're still trying to work her in there. So they were a surprise because no one thought they would be where they are when they were talking about this is the kind of offense we want to run, and kudos to the coaching staff because they saw it when nobody else could see it, to their scouting department, for getting the right players in there. Can they make that push and dethrone Minnesota and New York? That would be something that
Hmm.
I would want to see in the play. Like I think they'll, assuming they stay healthy,
Right.
they'll stay up there, for the rest of the season. But when playoff time comes and you get down to the nitty gritty, can they continue to surprise people and make that push? And can they get to the championship game?
Yeah, no question about it. And I think, we had Cindy Brunson on the other day, and we were talking about, Alyssa Thomas and Duana Bonner and the impact that they will have. And then in the very next game they played, both of them had double doubles. I mean,
Oh, I did you see that the two alley oops that AT threw to Dewana Bonner? I'm like, yeah, those two people, they know each other a little bit, just a tad.
I'd love to see that. No, it was amazing. But I think, that level of experience, number one, right?
Right.
Because they know one another so very well. And, to have double doubles, both of them have double doubles in that game and come up the way that they did in a huge win. I think look, you're right. I mean, I think that's going to be intriguing to see how Copper is, integrated with them and what kind of iterations they can come up with their rotations. I think that's going to be fun. But
Yeah.
I like that. I like that call with Phoenix, like what you said. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's gonna be interesting to see. That 7, 8, 9 position we were talking about. That's the word you used, log jam, right there. Just trying to see who's gonna make the playoffs. But that's kind of like, okay, we'll see. But I think the more intriguing piece is can Phoenix, can they sustain it? Can they sustain it?
I love it. I love it. And just really quickly before we move on to the next and pretty much close out here with Alyssa Thomas. I know I discussed it with Cindy a little bit, and her not being an all-star starter. Was that something that was a surprise to you? And also, is that something that she has had to fight her whole career in your estimation? And if so, why is that the case? Because I just need answers.
Yeah, you just need answers.
I
I mean, several things. Question is, did Phoenix market her enough,
Okay.
right? For that, like, I don't have an answer. I'm just asking these rhetorical
Really?
questions. Did they market her enough to get people to know who she is and appreciate what she does like we do as coaches, right? The average fan, I don't know that they would appreciate what she does night in and night out that you can't necessarily quantify that is key.
Mhm.
Um, the second thing is people like eye candy. They like the woo, let's that kind of stuff, and you're not going to see that from her, right? She's just I'm gonna get done what needs to get done, and so I think that's a big part of it too. The average fan is gonna they want the highlights, and so they're gonna vote for who see the most, who gives them the most highlights. I bet you if it was just coaches
Okay.
that were voting, that she probably would have been a starter. But that's the nature of how they do it,
Mhm.
and frankly, I don't think she cares. I think she let me have that chip on my shoulder,
That
right?
part.
Just I got something to prove to you every time I go out there, and I'm gonna run you over, literally, figuratively, and get done what I need to get done. And when she came just a smidge close to being the MVP that year, at Connecticut, it was because the eye candy. It's not eye candy. So
Yeah. No, I agree. That was funny. Yeah. I mean, I think you're right with her idea of probably having a chip on her shoulder, but I think it's for her, right? I mean, she doesn't have
right,
labor shoulders.
that's right.
Like she can't be holding the chip for that long. But for me, I think it's like she's trying to prove it to herself too, right? I don't think I do think she understands that she's not trying to prove what her worth or value is to anyone but herself. And I think
Right.
that's excellent and consistent because she's just like, I'm out here because I love it. I'm out here to prove a point to me. And if you don't see it, I mean, that's on you.
Well, and the people that matter see it. That's why they want her on their team. That's why people hate playing against her.
Say that. Absolutely. 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 Well, are you going to Indy this weekend? Are you going?
In my mind, I am. I will watch it virtually. It'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see all the contests and everything. It's going to be, like I said, women's basketball is come so far, and it's going to be so fun to see. Now, I don't know, the 3-point contest, if Caitlin's going to be in there, because she re-aggravated that groin, so that'd be a bit of a disappointment. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The old heads against, what did you say last week? It was one team was made to win and one team was made to entertain. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, yeah. I said Fee's team was made to win, and Caitlin's team was the entertainment team. But we'll see. Sometimes entertainment wins. You just never know. But I think it's going to be intriguing to say the least. And I hope Caitlin's okay. Yeah, to your point, she re-aggravated that growing injury against Connecticut yesterday, which was Tuesday. We're here on a Wednesday. But I didn't like the look of that play. And I
Yeah,
look on her face either. She seemed to be concerned, but Steph White in the post game presser said that she didn't have further information, that she felt a little something in her groin, was verbatim what Steph White said, the head coach there at Indy. So hopefully she'll be able to get right, at least for the weekend. If she doesn't do the 3-point shooting contest, that's fine. But you know, hopefully she's able to go and be healthy. That's the bottom line. Just
yep,
be healthy.
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
the skills contest too is going to be fun. A lot of really great names on that list. The 3-point shooting contest, all that happens on Friday night, correct? I think it's at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and what I like about you'll be able to see the personalities of the players, which I think is awesome, and quite frankly, it's a great opportunity for branding for the players, right? So I'm going to show my personality and compete at the same time.
Yeah, no doubt. I saw Asia Wilson's new shoe for the All Star game. Oh my god! And like, I don't really do all the sneaker stuff. My kids loved all that stuff, and they would tell me all the shoes and when they were dropping and all the things. But let me say something. Asia Wilson's All Star shoe is really, really cool. It's
I
like
haven't seen it yet.
orange. It's like the WNBA orange and like yellow. It's like a fire flame. Really, really good. Yeah, really cool stuff. But it's exciting, and like you said, the branding opportunities.
Sell shoes, gotta sell shoes.
Guys, so about the shoes, baby. Yeah, but it was really fun to see that. But I am not going to be in Indy either. But I will be definitely watching and supporting and cheering on the fans and the players and coaches involved, and just
It's gonna be packed. It's gonna be packed.
yeah, and just where our game is now. It's like a celebratory moment, right? For the momentum
Yep.
that not only will be carried forward for the second half of the season, but for years and generations ahead, right? Those littles that are going to be sitting in there with wide eyes watching the possibilities and seeing it as a new normal of all the respect in the building, as always, there in Indy and across the league. So I think it's going to be really fun. What else is up for you before we hop out of here?
Just I'll be on here again next week. Just trying to figure out which games to watch. It's a nightly thing. I'm like, I cannot go on this podcast and not know what I'm talking about. So
I love it.
watching games and this time of the year, aside from that, I just try to chill a little bit because the grind of the college season. You're just
On the move,
watch film, go to practice, do a game, go home, sleep, watch film, go to practice, do that kind of stuff. So I try to chill a little bit during the summer
right?
and try to recharge a little bit, getting ready for the season.
Yeah, do that woosah, get a little yoga in, a little Pilates, do whatever you need to do. I love that. I love it. Yeah. But I love chatting with you always. I do have to give a shout out to my girl, Melanie Page, who made this shirt for all the DMV broadcasters. I don't even know if you can see it. Can
Oh
you?
yeah, I saw that. Is awesome.
Yeah.
That is
Uh,
awesome. Can
Pam.
people buy that somewhere?
Yes, it's the Can't Retire doc, right? It's the Can't Retire documentary. Melanie Page is the one who has produced it. She is a go-getter. She's going to be there in Indy, and it's just been really fun to connect with her. She's telling all the stories of the DMV hoopers and coaches on the women's side.
Wow.
Kevin Durant did it on the men's side, and a little bit with the women, but this one is exclusively for the women here in the water in the DMV. But yeah, she made this shirt for us, and so I made the shirt. I did the Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. I got on there, but anyway,
I love it. Love it. Great shout out. Great shout out.
yeah, Pam LaChina Robinson, Carol Lawson, myself, all, and then Monica McNutt, of course, and then at the bottom Zora Stevenson, and she just had twins, boy and a girl twins. Zora did. So I've just known all of them for a lot of years and a lot of sisterhood, a lot of love here in the DMV for that. So I just wanted to give her a quick shout before the all-Star break, and I know she's going to be there, so look for her. But it's on IG, Can't Retire Doc, and she's
Okay. I'll check it out.
but she's
Check
doing
it out.
great stuff out here, and yeah, really cute stuff. But oh my God, Helen, thank you for joining us on the
I
Her
love talking with you, Christy.
always, 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 and maybe next year we'll meet at the All-Star game and like hang out.
Let's make a plan. Let's
Right,
just make a plan. We're gonna do a podcast from the All-Star game next year. Let's
let's
just put it out there in the universe. Let's
put it
do
out.
it.
Yeah, put that on the list of things to do. BMAC, I know he's gonna hook it up. So BMAC, thank you again for producing today, and we will check you guys in the second half of the WNBA season right here on the Her Hoop Stats podcast. I'm Christy Winters Scott for Helen Williams, and we'll see you next time.